this camera framed up here. Let's see how that's going to look. There you go. All right, in today's video, we are doing cable management. We are wiring in a switch for the water pump that also controls a bunch of other stuff. But what's exciting is when you get to this point, all the wires are ran, everything is working. It's just taking time to clean everything up, shorten the wires and stuff like that. If you don't know what we're doing, we are working on Brian and Robin's adventure van with their upgrades, and they're actually coming up this weekend to pick up the van. So even though it looks kind of like a mess, it's really just neatening things up. As far as the kitchen galley goes, we've got the microwave in, it's bolted down, set to go. We've got our shelf bolted in that is actually supporting the water pump. So this is the location of the water pump. We've went ahead and ran all of our lines. You may have seen that in some of the time lapse. I don't think I uploaded that actually. But we have our water lines, our PEX A ran all the way to the back. Earlier this morning, we went ahead and filled up and did a leak test on everything. As soon as we get this is the main thing I wanted to go over in this video, was this kind of fancy wiring thing I do for the water pump. It's simple, but it's one switch that does a bunch of functions. So I wanted to show you that before I actually did the second. So the first leak test is the tank. So it's to make sure that the PEX A fittings, anything that we crimped, is actually not weeping or having like a little drip or something like that. And I go over a whole entire process of how to do that in the Blueprint Van Conversion course, which you can pre-order today. We're doing a pre-sale where you guys can actually get a discount before it goes live October 1st. So check out vanbuilderhq.com. The Van Build course is going to be launched on October 1st, so I'm really excited. A lot of behind the scenes stuff will be in that course, so I'd love for you guys to go ahead and pick that up, purchase it. But just get into it. I do a double seal on these joints to where I use a mixture of two components, which are Mega Tape, and it's a PTFE tape, and then I use something called Rector Seal Soft Set Slow Dry number 5. These two in combinations, they really give me the confidence to get this fan on its way and not have to worry about leaks or anything like that. But yeah, we've got about 20 gallons just sitting in the tank, just kind of hanging out. It'll be hanging out like the next 2 days. But we pretty much checked that off our list. All the PEX lines have been ran. The pressure test with them comes when I finish this today, which is getting power to the pump and just testing all the joints under pressure from the pump. So you can do non-pressurized and then pressurized, which we'll do today. And yeah, it's pretty much straightforward here on out. We've got our step with the drawer slide here to get in and out with some additional storage. We've modified this bottom drawer. There's just like 3 pieces of wood I gotta tack into place. Also, we'll be doing our final glue and fit with this. So this right here, where did I got one more fitting from Lowe's I can show you guys. So I'm using these things. Again, you know how I like to do a little overkill here. This is Schedule 40 pipe for the plumbing. And these Fernco fittings, I really, really like them because you can take a screwdriver and you can quickly disassemble this. Now, this joint here that goes right here for the tank. So this is kind of what it looks like. So we have our sink. Sink comes down, and then we have a hard line. This Fernco fitting is going to replace this joint here. This is just more, I put this in so I can get a placeholder so I can cut this on the miter saw, so this is all sized. We'll use the PVC cement for this bottom section, and then the Fernco is going to go here, and then we get an additional one here and at the sink. So if you accidentally put something down the drain, or you goof and I don't know, you do something weird to where you need to clean this out, you just undo this and undo this one or the one from the sink. This whole panel comes off, and then this whole entire section, you would just take this out, and then you can take this out, clean down your tank. So just a lot of flexibility in maintenance and service of your van. So think about that when you're doing your van. Also, these Ferncos, they really get this out of the way so that we can make sure we have a ton of room in here for storage, and then also they have a Trillino toilet that's going to go in there. So they have the medium-sized toilet, and this is about the size of the box, so you can see it's going to fit perfectly right underneath that bend that we have underneath the sink. So this is going in just a couple minutes. More exciting news in the shop. We are actually got another customer coming up in a few weeks, and we are replacing. We're doing a AC replacement on the roof. So I just got delivered the replacement unit. We'll be going through that kind of step by step on how to replace that if one goes bad in the future. It's gonna be a pretty good video. And it should be pretty straightforward because all the wiring is ready to go. It's already got, already has an AC unit. We're just going to be popping one off, popping the second one in, and rewiring it just a little bit. So that's coming up. That's exciting. So right here, I talked about this when I did John and Susan's van. Again, access, maintenance is something you really got to think about. And if you can see the way that I bring this in here, what's going to happen is there's these little electrical, they're cable clamps, they're 3/4 inch cable clamps, and they're designed for like electrical cable, kind of heavy duty electrical cable. And I use them for this PEX. So I put it on the PEX, and then I'll take one truss head screw, and I'll just take this and I'll bring it in and bolt it to the back of this panel. It's a little bit of double work if you ever need to take this panel off, but I think 2 screws is well worth it to make sure you don't have anything vibrate. So again, this, we'll take these, and these will actually come around here. And they're just going to pull this in and bolt this against the back panel. So when you're driving, this does not become a rattle. One thing that kind of comes with the territory is if you do want your drain or your spray wand to go up and down and work, you really cannot get away from this thing moving around. You need this to be free. So the toilet, if it pushes up against here, you should be fine. But just remember, there are compromises in vans. So there is a weight that goes on the wand that you pull up and down, and this weight, I'll do my best to make sure that I put it in a place so it's not knocking all around. But you gotta have 2 things work at the same time. You want this to work, but then you don't want it to rattle. One of those is going to take over. So this right here, it could knock against this. But if you're going to want this to work, you're going to have to kind of compromise with that. So maybe before you hit the road, you can just, pull this back inside, or like put a rag around it or something like that. But I'm going to try to put this in a way to where it stays in front of these, and it'll just move, but it won't actually knock against this. But it's just some things to think about. Some things, this is a household sink, you know, it's not really designed for an RV, but it's in here because it looks really nice, very functional. But yeah, something to think about it, and that's something I'll talk to, you know, Brian and Robin about. I'm real big at identifying any type of things that would annoy me in a van, so kind of pointing those out so that when you're riding, you don't think something's wrong or something's out of place. You just kind of know what to expect. Managing expectations, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so what we're doing, let's move on to what we got going on here. We have our sub panel. So this is a 100 amp panel, 100 amp supply, 12 volt, 100 amp supply of power coming underneath the kitchen galley. And this is going to be your fuse panel for everything in the van that is not your Lynx distributor high current items. So it's not the AC unit, it's not your DC to DC chargers, it's not your solar, and it's not your second alternator. This is all your water pump, Webasto heater, lights, like all that good stuff. And so it's conveniently located under here instead of in the back of the van so that you can access it. So as we're pulling all this stuff around, we're making it to our pump. And what I'm using is something really cool. I can find the... And also, if you are joining the chat, I do have those answers to those questions you were trying to answer in the other chat. I see comments coming through right now, but I know the last video they were, for some reason, not coming through. All right, where is this thing? So this company, where did that piece go? All right, give me a second. I'll just set something down before I hit record. Now I gotta find it. Oh, here it is. There we go. So this is the button. You can choose what kind of color the metal is. So black finish, stainless. So we got a stainless finish. I think it's technically aluminum. This is a waterproof, fully waterproof switch. And I put these switches right here in the sink. And there's a special drill bit that you have to buy to actually drill this out and get this into the sink. It's really hard to do that. But once it switches in here, this is your main on and off to your water pump. So you click the button, the water pump primes, you can use your sink, wash your hands, and then you immediately want to turn it off. And you want to get into a habit of always turning your water pump off when you're not using it. Don't keep it charged. It's not to protect the pump, it's so that you protect yourself. If you leave the pump on, something happens in the van, it gets really hot. If the pump is on and a line breaks for whatever reason, wintertime, summertime, like whatever happens, the pump doesn't know to turn off. There's nothing to tell it to turn off. So it'll pump whatever water you have in the leak in the van until it runs out of power, essentially, or water. So getting in the habit of having this close to the sink, on and off, it's just very convenient. And what I'm doing today is I'm taking this switch here, wiring it to the pump, and then we're doing a secondary circuit to take it to the back of the van as a emergency disconnect. So this is the product that I'm using. It's IP65 rated, it's waterproof, and it comes with a harness, and then this part right here. So yeah, really nice. And you're going to need to keep with you one of the pigtails and the instructions sheet if you want to use this, because it's actually, it is the wiring. If you've never done electrical before, this is kind of complicated. understanding. This is when you press the button, you're wiring it to have the LED on when the button is pressed only. This is the LEDs on all the time. And the one on the back is when you push the button, the LED goes off, which I'm not sure why you would want to ever wire it that way. All right, where did I leave off? Let's get back to work here. So we just wired our negative. So we've got power going to our blue number, and this switch is already mounted in here, but you need a second one in my case so I can make sure the pinout's correct. If you don't do the pinouts correct and you turn the button on, you can instantly burn the switch out. So I always order extra of these in case I goof. So wire number 3 is going to be our power pickup. It's going for our power supply. Wire number 4. That wire is going to be our power going to the water pump itself. Now this is where the professional comes in, because what I'm doing is I'm wiring, this is positive going in, this is the positive control wire going out, but we're using a single red and black wire. The colors don't matter. What matters is the continuity, like how you are wiring these two together. Because you're saying, Nick, you got positive red coming in, but then you got blue coming out, and then you got blue coming out going to black that's also positive. So if you've never done electrical before, get a pad, kind of sketch some things out, get an idea of how you want things to work ahead of time. Buy extra switches because you may blow them. 12 volt is not dangerous as long as it's low current. So I would not worry about, anything like that. So let's see, we've got, and if you guys have questions, just put those in the chat. The struggle is real, brother. Yeah, Brandon, not sure what part of that conversation you're talking about, but I feel you if you're talking about wiring electrical. Yeah, but if you guys have any questions, ask them to me this whole entire time I'm going live. I may pause for a little bit and just kind of work. Not answer questions, but just easier to get the camera rolling and have you guys join while I'm doing all this stuff. All right, so the red wire, so the blue is the positive going to the device is the pump. So our red over here is going to go to the positive over here. So we got our switch, so that when we press the switch, power is going, we're connecting the power from the battery to the switch, and the switch contacting the pump. But what we also want to do is we want to run two more things. We want to run the blue LED in the back of the van that illuminates the tank so we can see the level. And then we also want to run power to the LED light on the switch itself. So that is made when this switch is made. Okay, so in order to do that, we got our Wago connectors here. Wago connectors are awesome because you don't have to crimp or anything. So let's just take a minute and think about how many we need here. So we need power for the pump, power for the LED, power for the pump, power for the LED, and then a power going back to the back of the van. So we've got a 3. No. Nova, we're filming. All right, so we need a 3 thing Wago. So we're gonna take the wire that is our power coming into the pump from the switch. We're taking our, where's the next thing we're taking? We're taking our power to the pump. And then later, or right now maybe, let's do it real time. We're going to be taking our we'll take a new line. We're going to run this line. So we're using, let's see here, we've got 16, what we got, 16? 16 gauge, UL listed marine cable. If you can do it, UL listed marine cable. Nick's highly recommends you use UL listed marine wiring. Okay, so we got that wire to the back, nice and easy. Now we'll just come up here, we'll give ourselves about that much slack to work with. So this is going to do, again, if you guys want to know what tools I use, DIY Van Build cheat sheet is on vanbuilderhq.com. These two things, crimpers for insulated and non-insulated crimp style fittings like this. So use this for this. My most favorite tool in the shop has to be this Klein tool stripper. So this thing is incredible. So for example, this wire that we just had, you can take the whole wire, you can put it in here. You can strip the outer sheathing just like that. And then if you just kind of by memory feed it in here to your Wago length, then you got your, so you see, I mean, that's just crazy fast. So this one, what we're going to do is we need to make sure this one, our red is going to be positive. Okay, now I got to think about this one. Let's see, so this is our signal. So this is our circuit made. So when the circuit is made, we want these wires to connect. So we got a red positive, and then we've got our black negative. And so what we want to do is that switch in the back, we are going to wire it so that when that positive wire is made, we have our blue LED in the back light up. So we'll go back there. I'll do that off camera. I'm just kind of hanging out here so I don't have to move the camera. Let's see, let me triple check that. Okay, so once those two are made, that connects our pump. All right, let's see where we're at. So 4 is our one going out. 3 is the one positive coming in. So 4 is going out. 2 is the next. So 2 needs to be wired negative. And red is going to 4. So red is going to 4. So 4. So So red is also going to 4. So we need to take this right here. We need to replace this Wago with a 3 connector. That way it gives us power to the LED and power to the pump. Power to the pump, power to the LED, power to the pump. Bingo. All right, and the yellow wires are not used in this case. And then the black wire just goes to ground. So we don't have ground. Let's get a ground wire. So for ground wire, we're simply going to match the length with another 16 gauge wire. Use the big snips for the wire, and then we'll take our jacket off here. Now because we're just using the ground, what I will do is I'm going to pull this back, and I'm just going to snip this red wire. What you could do is you could strip this, pull the black wire out, but I don't know, I don't really have time to do that. So I just snip this off. And this way with the vans that I build, I have a ground wire. But I'm not having to kind of second guess myself on this connection. Plus, I want these, it's also visual. I want this to look good. Like I want these 2 white wires to be zip tied together. I don't want to have like all these different colored looking wires. I know that sounds crazy, but. So we have the power coming into the switch. So incoming power is this side. Switched power is over here. So the switched power is when we depress it, we're connecting the pump to the ground, we're connecting the LED to ground, and then to make it connect to ground, we gotta put in the ground. So that's our ground. And then this will just go through here, and this ground wire will go also in our ground spot. And when you're wiring everything, make sure that your supply wire, so the supply wire that we have is the water pump. This supply wire that we're using, we already have it ran in the floor all the way. It comes back up, and over here it's labeled water pump. So this is the line that will actually provide power and ground from our sub panel here. So that's kind of where all this comes together. All right. So I'm pretty confident on this. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to plug it up in here. I'm going to take this water pump wire. Always label all your wires. Okay, we got a question. Aren't those switches only rated for 3 amps or less? They look like 22 millimeter Metzler switches. So as far as their rating, that's a good point. That is a good point. I forgot exactly how many amps they were. I've used them in all my builds, so I haven't had any power supply issues with the switch itself. I'll look that up. Give me 1 second. If you look them up, they're actually more chunky than they seem. Yeah, I'm gonna hop on the computer. I'm gonna get you an amp reading. Okay, so answer to the switch. The switch is a 10 amp rated switch. The pump is a max of 7 amps. So that's our, so we got the additional amps or to run the LEDs, but obviously they use hardly anything. But yeah, this switch is rated for 10 amps. And our pump uses a max of 7 amps. Okay, what else? We got this switch, good. We got our wire here, so let's see if we can get, I need to pull some more cable off here. But because we're doing that, we need to relabel this. And the pump manufacturer recommends 16 gauge. So I'm running 14 gauge. I oversize it when I do my run to the pump. And then for this additional wire, like to the switch in the back and the LED into the switch up here, I'm using 16 gauge. Okay, so here's our two terminals. We're going to go ahead and crimp something on here so we can get some power to test this thing out. Again, this is where these come into handy because we cut the wire, but we also can crimp the insulated crimp, which insulated just means it's got plastic around it. Whether you're using red or yellow wire, black or white wire, just always do a mental note of which you have identified as the ground wire. Max fans are notorious for the positive being the black wire. I have no clue why they do that, but don't wire your van like the Max fan. Have your black wire as your ground and your white wire as your hot. That is my recommendation. All right, so let me get in here and wire this up. And all the wires in here are all hot. I do not have it disconnected in the back, so just keep that in mind as you're working on your van. I don't have the fuse for the circuit in, but the wires are hot, so. Okay, so what's fun in the back of the van is that we're going to do the same switch, but for the switch in the back of the van, we're going to get it to work the way I want is the switch will always be depressed in the back. This one will be the master, so when this one provides power, this one will illuminate. So when this power turns on, it's making the connection to run the pump, and it's making the connection to send power via this secondary line that we're running all the way to the back of the van. So back here in the back, right beside our tank fill, right here, we have that switch. So the reason I do this is, imagine you're in the van and you got this door shut and you're spraying something down in the back of the van, and I don't know, you goof, you slam the door, you do something where you break the hose and you can't open this door fast enough to turn the water off, and it's like spraying everywhere. Right here in the back of the van, you just press this button and it actually disconnects the circuit for the water pump. You can use it as like on and off, but this one's always going to be on. I tell my customers, use this as like an emergency. So if you need to turn it off, always use this one as primary on and off. This one is just in case you need to turn it off quickly. But if you turn this switch off, this one won't work anymore until you turn this one back on. But what this one's going to do, we're going to wire it the same way. Instead of this one powering a water pump, this is going to power a rear LED light to illuminate the tank. So that's how we're going to wire this. All right, do we have any more? Oh, hey, Rod. Let's see, Rod, let's see what other questions, what were those questions that you had the other day? Try to answer them real quick. on here, so I'll just wait like about Okay, Rod, so you were asking, you had a question the other day, you were asking about the way that I built that box. Would you build cabinets the same way? And my answer would be no. I would definitely use Craig screws to make those joints. What I didn't show you off camera was I reinforced the box on the inside. The reason I didn't have enough room to build the box the way I wanted to because of just the space. So what I did instead is I built the box, you know, wood glue with the pin nails and all the joints. So that was solidly put together. And then what I did is I took angle brackets and I reinforced the inside. So that kind of takes the place of the Craig screw construction that I would have done. And then I took 2-inch aluminum channel and I lined the bottom of the drawer with a 2-inch aluminum channel. And then I took the bolts and bolted them into the aluminum channel that was on the bottom side of the drawer. And so that just gave me, you know, all the stability. When you pull the drawer out, the slack in the drawer slides, which a drawer is always going to have a little bit of that slack. The drawer does kind of like, you know, slightly move just a little bit, but it does lock into place and it is very safe. And you can, I mean, I jumped up and down on it, you know, moved it around. It's solid as rock. It does have a little bit of give, and that's just the ball bearing slides in it. But as far as it locking into place and being supportive, it does the job. And because we didn't do the Craig screw on the inside, the drawer's a little bit more neater. When you do the Craig screws in 1/2-inch wood, it cuts all these notches everywhere, and it just looks like, kind of looks like a hack job. So visually, I didn't want to do that to this drawer, so I used the aluminum to reinforce it. As far as the drawer slides go, let's see, what were you asking on that? Oh yeah, so what's going in the drawer? So the drawer, hold on, I was clear coating the drawer. So the whole point of the drawer is to, this is the lid of the drawer, see? So the whole point of the drawer is to be a step to get into the bed. You just leave it out during nighttime, get in and out of the bed if you need to use the bathroom. So the main reason is for a step. And then I've got this taped off. I'm spraying some polyurethane on it. But this hole is so you can pull this open. And then you have an 8x14, 8-inch high, 14x14 drawer that you can just store more stuff in the van. Give you more storage. Let's see here. Should replace my switches and get rid of some relays. It's up to you. If you, so this is for Hammer's question. I try to find heavy-duty switches instead of relays just for the simplicity of putting the circuit together. Because relays, I mean, I did car automotive customization pretty much ever since I got my first car. And I use the relays all the time. I use them for the fog lights. I use them for all kinds of circuits in a car. So they're simple, they're easy to use, but they can kind of get complicated in a van because you might be doing it for everything. To me, it's easier to oversize the wiring going wherever you need to in the van because you never know down the road what you're going to add later. And if you wire something to the bare minimum of whatever switch you're using, you can't repurpose that and add an additional circuit to it. So that's why I do this 100 amp service here. So I don't ever have to worry about if Brian and Robin want to add something. Like for example, right here, this wire, this is a free wire. If Brian wants to, or Brian or Robin, if they wanted to wire something in the back of their van, behind the water tank, there's this wire, and this wire goes here. So I'm going to hide this wire right here behind the microwave. And then in the future, if they need to add another 12-volt circuit in the back, they already have wire ran. So that's an extra circuit. Yeah, so that is, yeah, so overdo this, and just go up 1 gauge of wire. If you're 16, go to 14. If you're 12, go to 10, you know, just to get that headroom, because cost-wise, it's not going to be that crazy of a difference cost-wise. Okay, where else do I want to show you guys really quick? Let's see, that might be it, because I do a couple other things that are not on topic. So I'll give you guys 1 minute to ask any more questions, and then we're gonna hop off the live stream. So in the next minute, put your questions, I'll answer them. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to Van Builder HQ's YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. I go live randomly throughout the week. I don't want you guys to miss any uploads or live videos. 2 things. The DIY Van Build cheat sheet is a free cheat sheet that I made. It's essentially an Excel sheet with over 250 items that are organized that I bought from Amazon over the past 3 years, and it's free. It's to help you out with your DIY van conversion. The second one is my Blueprint Van Conversion course. So this is a course that's going to teach you how to do a DIY camper van conversion. It's a pre-sale right now, so you can pre-order it, get a discount for pre-ordering it before it launches on October 1st. And throughout all the lives, YouTube, question and comments, I'm welcoming questions that you guys have, just like you asked today, into the course, so that we'll cover those as an addition to what I've already planned to cover in the course right now. So if you want more details on the course, go to vanbuilderhq.com. In the top menu, you're just going to click on course. It'll take you to the page that's going to do a quick overview. There's a video review of the course that you can play and watch me talk about more in depth what's going to be in the course itself. But all right, 1 minute. I want to end the live stream, so if you have any more questions, if you want to catch me live right now, you're free to ask those. Okay, Rod's giving me the thumbs up, so I think that is all we have for this live stream. After doing some cable management and hook some plumbing stuff up, I may go live one more time today, but we'll find out. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the live stream today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, share this to anybody that is doing a DIY van conversion and may need some help or tips or tools or anything like that. We got that on vanbuilderhq.com. There's also tons of blog posts and articles going in depth over all kinds of stuff DIY camper van related. Check it out, vanbuilderhq.com. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video.